Welcome to the Dr. Vibe Show, live from the worldwide offices in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's Dr. Vibe, your host and producer of the Dr. Vibe Show. Remember, you are blessed and highly favored. You're a magnet for miracles, and you're a solution for someone's problem. It's been a while since I've done the Google Hangout thing because the last time we tried to do it, there were some challenges, but we have overcome. So we are here on a Saturday afternoon, a little bit after Christmas. Hope everyone had a great Christmas and a great holiday season. Those who are still enjoying it, make it happen. And anyone who's having any weather challenges like power outages, we're speaking that they'll be overcome very soon. If you want to tweet myself, it's at DRVIBESHOW. Also our guest, you can get in touch with him via Twitter at FloodTheDrummer. Also just want to shout out to the Good Men Project, where I do monthly hosting of Google Hangouts. So we're back with Christopher Norris. He's becoming quite the regular here. For some reason, he likes it here. I don't know why, but he likes it here. So Chris is back. Chris is from Philadelphia, and he's here to share with us on a great initiative that's being taken on by Echoing Green about black male achievement. So live from Philly, Philadelphian freedom fighter, Chris Norris. How are we doing?
I'm great, Dr. Vi. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Well, you know what? I owe it to you after our last challenge. We got over the hump, and we're doing it proper this time live. So I thank you for your patience and your perseverance. And you know what? I know people should know about you, but if you can give an edited version of yourself to our audience, it'd be much appreciated. So go for it.
Sure. I'm a Philadelphia-based journalist, online content producer, and professional drummer. I currently am the CEO of TechBook Online Corporation. And this year I have the pleasure of being a 2014 search partner for Echoing Green, which is the world's largest angel investor in social entrepreneurs.
Excellent. So let us find out a little bit, because I've know a small little bit about Echoing Green. Can you give a little bit of information for our audience on what Echoing Green is all about?
Sure. Echoing Green, for the last 33 years, has invested more than, the last 25 years, has invested nearly $33 million in over 600 entrepreneurs worldwide. And when they do invest, they usually receive a 44 times what they invested. They're all about harnessing entrepreneurial millennial talent to solve the world's toughest problems. Again, they operate in 40 countries, and some of the former Echoing Green Fellows are organizations like Teach for America, City Year, and AmeriCorps, and some other really robust global organizations. So it's really a phenomenal organization that was started in 1985 by some philanthropists who had a huge asset of money and wanted to use it for good. And so in 2011, Echoing Green joined with the Open Societies Foundation, a campaign for black male achievement with Sean Dove, and they've invested in funding entrepreneurs and innovative organizations that address the issues for black men and boys.
Fantastic.
They also have a climate change fellowship this year. For the first time ever, Echoing Green is looking at the effects of climate change, and they're really looking for next generation leaders and social entrepreneurs that can address climate change mitigation and adaptation. So for the Black Male Achievement Fellowship, there's $70,000 available for a 2-year fellowship, and for the climate change is a $90,000 fellowship.
Excellent. So let me roll back before we get into the details of the fellowship. How did you find out about Echoing Green?
Echoing Green actually contacted us. They were getting ready to roll out the application process, and were looking for entrepreneurs or organizations with large media networks and real hyperconnectivity in the community. So we were contacted. It was a surprise for me, because I am a huge fan of Echoing Green and have studied their organization for the past 2 years. And they really are a world-class organization. Some of the top leaders in the millennial space have participated in that. And so I was really honored to participate in them and to leverage our media assets to promote this great work.
Excellent. So can you get and delve deeper into what the fellowship, I guess before we talk or you share about what the fellowship's about, What does, you know what, let's talk about the fellowship first, and then we'll talk how black men can apply for it. So what does the fellowship or the Achievement Fellowship entail?
So for people interested, and it's kind of like the Dr. Vibe show, the Black Male Achievement Fellowship is for black men and those who love them. You do not have to be a black man to compete and participate in the challenge, but your organization and or idea has to address the systemic issues facing black men and boys. It is a highly competitive process. Out of more than 3,000 applications, only 35 to 40 will be accepted. There are 3 rounds of eliminations. And when you are accepted as a fellow, you are getting a 2-year fellowship. The money can go to anything to pay for salaries, to programming, to development. You also get access to high-quality mentorship and be able to participate in the networks that Echoing Green has, all of their conferences, and storytelling opportunities and opportunities for you to appear in the media. It is really an opportunity for entrepreneurs who really are ready to take their idea to the next level to get everything they need. So it's not just the money, but it's a portfolio of mentors, of resources, of learning opportunities, of conferences, something that money can't buy. You know, and the access and the people that you get to meet is something that you can't get, you know, just being knocking on doors or making phone calls. And this is a really exclusive opportunity.
It doesn't sound like, especially in America, too many opportunities come up like this for black men. Am I correct in assuming that?
No, you are correct in assuming that. I mean, again, this opportunity was founded in 2011. It's extremely new. And outside of the Campaign for Black Male Achievement, which is spearheaded and funded through the Open Societies Foundation, and outside of Be Me, which is a growing network, there really isn't that many, really isn't any organizations in America that are building a community around black men and then supporting them with financial resources and physical resources in terms of human capital, mentorship, ideas to connect and collaborate with other innovators in other cities. So, and now to be able to see the Campaign for Black Male Achievement with Sean Dove and Be Me with Travian Shorters become one in a sense. I think that we're seeing the beginning of a new era in terms of black male achievement and how black men are engaged in this country.
So what does one have to do to qualify, or what does one have to submit to Echoing Green in order to be considered for this great opportunity?
Everyone has to complete the application fellowship, which can be found on echoinggreen.org, or you can go to techbookonline.com and download our tabs, which has links to both the Black Male Achievement Fellowship application as well as the Echoing Green Fellowship application. They are pretty long, and you don't have to finish them in a day. They do allow you to save a draft, and you can compete it. You can apply as an individual or as a team. I do recommend that those that are interested in it really look at how they could promote collaboration and foster collaboration and really apply as a team. I do think there's strength in numbers. I'm a firm believer in collaboration. There are 7 steps to the application process, and they're very detailed questions that you have to address in terms of organizational structure. How does it make, how is this innovative? What makes it innovative? What's new about it? How much money do you plan to spend in the next 2 years? Because the one thing that's interesting about this Echoing Green Fellowship that's different from any other kind of initiative going after black men and boys is that this is about an entrepreneurial solution, a fundamental solution that will not only address the issue, but drive revenue. So a really sustainable business model has to be backed by your innovation.
Now, I'm going to ask now, many people who are applying for this may not have the knowledge, experience, or mentorship on answering some of the questions that are on this application. If you could give advice to people who don't have as much experience, or maybe, how can I say, intimidated by filling out something like this, what encouragement, what advice would you give them?
I would say that if you're intimidated, it means that you're probably doing something new which is great. So keep going. You know, there's nothing wrong necessarily with being intimidated. I'm to be honest with you, I've seen the application. It is pretty intimidating. It's very intense, but it's also a great opportunity. And the things, and again, because you don't have to complete the application in one sitting, you can, you know, go to different, you know, sections on the application, look at it, and then Google some of the words you may not know, or some of the terms you may not be familiar with, and ask questions. I mean, you could tweet me, you could tweet Sean Dove, you could tweet some of the people at Echoing Green. Unfortunately, you can't make phone calls to Echoing Green to get your questions answered, but you can submit them in emails. You can email me. You can tweet me any questions you have, and we want to make sure that as many people that have great ideas, you know, take advantage of the opportunity and are not holding themselves back because they don't understand innovation, or they might not think what they're doing is innovative.
That's more than fair. So, quick question: are all the applicants have to be U.S. based? Actually,
for the Black Belt Achievement Fellowship, yes. For the Climate Fellowship and the Global Fellowship, no. Again, Echoing Green works in 40 countries around the world. They are a world-class organization, and the Climate Fellowship is open to next-generation leaders and social entrepreneurs around the country that are addressing issues with climate change mitigation and adaptation through innovation, but particularly the Black Belt Achievement Fellowship is in the U.S. Because we are so familiar with the issues facing black men and boys in America, and not necessarily what's happening abroad.
Well, that counts me out. No problem. I'm out of the running. Maybe Echoing Green will partner with someone internationally, and maybe I can apply, but that's no problem.
I think that's the next step, is looking at what are the issues facing, because I don't think the issues facing black men and boys in America are exclusive. I think that they are the same in Canada, they are the same in Africa and Bangladesh and wherever else you found black and brown people.
Very, very true. Also, so I just want to, you had mentioned Sean Dove, and I have to give a shout out to him for retweeting about this conversation. Also to Arthur Griffin Jr., who we will get on this show. We have to now, because because a lot of people think I'm paying him to tweet all my stuff, but it's not true. It's not true. It's just a rumor. So are yourself and Sean part of the deciding committee, or a group of people who are going to decide who will end up qualifying in the end?
I believe Sean is. I don't have that privilege. I am only issuing, helping get out the message, making sure that applicants are comfortable with the application process, and that they're armed with knowledge, and making sure that people are aware. I myself am applying for the Climate Change Fellowship, and so I'm going to be in the same boat with everyone else, hoping to, you know, make it to the next level, you know, going through this tedious application process. So again, you know, on your show, I'm making it very clear, if anyone is interested in applying for either one of those fellowships and are finding themselves stuck, please reach out to me on Twitter, or go to technicalline.com and email me directly. I do not want you to miss out on this opportunity just because you don't understand the wording on the application.
I want two more conversation pieces that have just come up on what you shared with us. Why are you not applying for the Black Male Fellowship?
Well, it's funny that you asked that. When TechBooks started, you know, we didn't start. We started 2 years prior to BME launch, and we started 2 years prior to there even being a Black Male Achievement Fellowship for Echoing Green. Technical Line was started on the basis of what's called econology, which is the synthesis of sociology, ecology, and economics that can be used as a base for creating an economy that's both socially and ecologically sustainable. And so while we cover a lot of black issues and issues facing black men and boys, and while myself happen to be a black man, the foundation of the company is built on sustainability and econology, and on teaching the effects of climate change. And we're a paperless organization, and so we're sustainable all the way. I also think that it gives us a one-up, because we are a black-owned company, because we're so in the black male achievement space. People will be expecting that from us. But as black men, to be able to go and say, no, we're interested in climate change adaptation, we want to talk about econology, we want to look at the science behind things, that will start again to change the perception in a completely different context because black men are not known to be participating in the eco space, the sustainability space.
Now, I think one thing.
Also, I want to
No,
say, because it's a
go ahead.
challenge.
Go
For
ahead.
me, it's a challenge to do the. It's a challenge for me to do the climate change fellowship, because I think the Black Male Achievements Fellowship, I think it might be too easy. There's one issue, and I'm looking at my tablet now, that the Open Society Foundation sent out. When we talk about the issues facing black men and boys in America, one of the issues that we have, and I'm looking at right now, is how do you improve media coverage and the public perceptions of African American men and boys? So as a media company, I'm thinking, oh my God, I could easily just jump on that. We could change the narrative now. We're changing the narrative now, but I think it's very important that blacks are represented in this climate change space, because it is so robust, it is so growing, and we're already being left out in a lot of the technology and innovation spaces. I really want to be aggressive at being in the spaces where we're not expected.
You know, you mirror my thought process. I like to go into areas where a number of people think that black men aren't supposed to be or aren't. So I hear where you're going. I commend you for taking the choice of going into the climate area, which is key. When is the deadline for applications? Now, I know it's coming up right quick.
The deadline is January 6th at 11:59 p.m. January 6th at 11:59 p.m. There will be no extensions. There will be no excuses. January 6th, 11:59 p.m. I'm on stage 5 of my application, and I had to take a break because I was like, oh, this is a lot. So, I mean, again, it is intense. It is a very competitive process, but it is the only process in the world like this, and it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I really want everyone to take advantage of it, and I really want people to take this in the context to say, think about it. You know, from now until January 6th, we have about 6 or 7 days. And we are all very familiar with the issues that face black men and boys, whether it's the media coverage of them, whether it's the global or the general audience perception of black men and boys, rather it's black men and boys' perception of themselves, rather it's stop and frisk, rather it's the achievement gap, rather it's the lack of blacks actually creating technology products. We know what the issues are, and I think we have a really good idea on how to solve them. We just need to actually look at them, and that's why I say get a team and do this as a team. Find somebody else that's interested in working with black men and boys, and say, what do you think? And I talked to Sean Dove, and we had a conversation about innovation and how people should look at innovation when approaching this fellowship. And this is, you know, to quote Sean Dove, innovation is simply just looking at a problem and approaching it from a new way. What Harriet Tubman did in the Underground Railroad was innovation. You know, what George Washington Carver did with the peanut was innovation. So I don't want people to think innovation has to be just technology. Innovation could be how you approach your services and how you deliver your content, how you deliver your model of services, how you set up your best practices. So those are all the things that encompass innovation. And again, if you have any questions, tweet me and we can have live Twitter chats about innovation, you know, leading up to January 6th. I'll make myself completely available to anyone that wants to participate in this and that has any questions.
Fantastic. So being involved in this project, whether just even indirectly like you are, what would you like to see as an end goal of this collaboration with the Black Male Achievement and the Echoing Green?
Well, for myself, just speaking personally, I would like to see, and I know you could speak to this, and I actually would like you to follow up. I'd like to see a better storytelling component about the work that's being done in this field and the people who are doing it. You said something very key, that it's very important for black men to document their journey and the year of documentation. And we do the work. We're out there raising the banner. We got a fist pump. We're marching. We're mentoring, but no one knows this. No one knows it. And we're not telling these stories enough to combat the mainstream media's coverage. And one thing that Travian said, that Travian Shorters of Be Me, said that really stuck out is if we don't tell our stories, we become a character in someone else's. So I want to see more stories being told from the people that are doing this work. And I'd be honored to tell those stories. I know you would.
Well, I'm doing it. I don't wait for anyone's permission. I just do it, man. I don't get good. I get done. And I guess a good follow up. Then you had asked me to follow up with you on that. I was visiting a very good friend yesterday, and I didn't know his father. Well, when I went into his house, right when you go into his house, on the wall there are a whole bunch of plaques, achievements of his father. And then his father came walking down the stairs, and I've met his father before. I didn't know he was still living in Toronto, and I said, "This is amazing." I said, "I need to sit down with you and just talk. I just want you to speak to each one of these plaques that are on the wall because there's a story behind each one of them." So that conversation is going to be happening very soon in the new year, and then there are people that he knows that I will probably never meet, but he'll be able to give some insight, who are black men who have done amazing things in Toronto and in Canada, that he'll be able to tell the story of and at least speak to power to those things, which you'll never see on a television. Well, I wouldn't say never see never, but highly doubtful that you'll see on a television. So I'm just at that point now where I see something like that, I'm on it. I don't let it pass me by.
Me either. And I think that, I mean, here, I'll give away one free. You know, when you talk about issues facing black men and boys, you know, two things that come to my mind, of course, is the media, media coverage of them. But with the way that technology works, with the inexpensive as technology is, everyone now can produce content. Everyone can share their experiences. Everyone has the opportunity to interact with their community in their own language, in their own voices. And even to get to that point, because that is an issue, someone could ideally apply for the Black Male Achievement Fellowship and create a series of workshops or Google Hangouts that brings together black men and boys that are interested in developing storytelling skills that would allow them to highlight their community works better and to change that perception. That's innovative. That's an innovative solution.
You know, and I'll just piggyback on that. A few things that you said, that, you know, it's so easy now and so cheap to produce content. Everyone's producing content when they send a tweet, when they send a photo. That's producing content. That's how people don't get down to just at ground level. Most people are already producing content. They don't even realize it.
If you have a phone, you're a content producer. Period.
Exactly. You have a tablet, you have a desktop, you have a laptop. You're probably producing content. Simple as that. And then on top of that,
selfies. Everybody that takes these selfies, they taking these pictures of themselves. They're producing content. It's just not relevant content.
Right. And then on top of that, about you throwing it out there about people, black men creating community and all that. If anyone, and I'll piggyback what Chris has said, that if anyone wants any help and guidance in doing that, Chris and I are already doing it. So we can shortcut the shortcut for you. You don't have to like scratch your head and go, oh my God, what am I going to do? We're already doing it. So if you need any help in regards to, you know, because we're not everywhere. We can't cover every story. We can't cover every person. There's room for everybody.
And that's what we were talking about yesterday with Bold. And that's what, you know, not to jump too much subject, but that's what the foundation of Bold was bringing community leaders into clusters and enabling them to break their own news across their disciplines and platforms. And because they're in their communities trust them. They're the leaders. They're the ones that could be at all those hyperlocal events and know what's happening. We can't do it all, but we can do it all together.
And definitely, so those who have any interest on applying for this wonderful opportunity in the U.S., go for it, because what we've just said will just accelerate that opportunity thousands and thousands of %. So,
and anyone who's watching this that's not in the U.S., that is just a change agent about doing good in the world, don't let the Black Male Achievement Fellowship hinder you. There are 2 more fellowships available, the Climate Fellowship and the Global Fellowship. You know, they're really looking for, particularly with Echoing Green, I want to make this very clear, the idea and the organization is only 50% of how you're judged. The other 50% are who you are as a person, your values, the work that you do, what you've done before, your reputation. Because to Echoing Green, the idea is just as important as the person who's executing it.
It's good stuff. Well, before we close out, Chris, I guess first things first, how can people find out more information about this great opportunity?
You can go to echoinggreen.org. That's echoinggreen.org. You can also visit my website, techbookonline.com. Right on our homepage, we have a link to tabs, and we have both the links to the Black Male Achievement Fellowship and the Echoing Green Fellowship available. You could, if you're following me on Twitter after this conversation, I'll tweet out both the links for you guys to have them, and we'll be tweeting them out regularly up until January 6th. And the easiest way, if you just want to Google Echoing Green Fellowships, and it'll come up as well. The White House, just to give you the some depth, Dr. Vibe, on how this program is being rolled out. The White House Office of African American Excellence in Education is also participating as a search partner and helping Echoing Green find potential candidates for the Black Male Achievement Fellowship. So it's made its way to the White House. This is how big this initiative is.
Well, what more initiative do people need if really and truly? I don't think you gave your Twitter handle. What's your Twitter handle?
So on Twitter, I'm at Flood the Drummer, spelled just that way. Flood, F-L-O-O-D, the T-H-E, Drummer, D-R-U-M-M-E-R.
Wonderful. Christopher Norris, Echoing Green, Black Male Achievement. That's a good trifecta. I don't bet, but that sounds like a good trifecta. As always, it's Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the Dr. Vibe Show. If you want to touch base with me, it's thdrvibeshow.com. All my contact information is there. You can also catch me at the Good Men Project. I have my own authors page, and I also am the co-producer and monthly host of their premium members Google Hangouts. As always, I like to say you're blessed and highly favored. You're a magnet for miracles and your solution for someone's problem. Take care. Best in 2014. God bless.
God bless.